Believe it or not, the 01 Arizona Diamondbacks are the oldest team to win it all in over half a century. With nobody below the age of 31 years old in their starting lineup, we have not seen a team as old as them win anything since then, and we probably won't for a long time, if ever again. We saw a 37-year-old Randy Johnson have the best season for a guy his age in pitching history.
Randy Johnson has tied the Major League record for strikeouts in a 9-inning game.
Their number one hitter, Luis Gonzalez, broke records at his age of 33, while also being placed into unfathomable circumstance.
2-2, bottom of the ninth, Game 7 of the World Series, bases loaded.
Being that this team was so old, they couldn't run on the base paths, putting them at a clear disadvantage versus everyone else. Ranking bottom 10 in stolen bases, they were one of the worst at getting caught stealing. On a hitting basis, they ranked 19th in doubles, which is not ideal at all. And the one part of their team where they relied on a young player was their bullpen, and it just so happened to be the worst part of their team. Nobody had expectations set very high. After all, they had only existed as a franchise for just a few years. They had a rookie manager, no young superstars, so how could they possibly win it all? It doesn't make sense. And why would a baseball front office choose to make a team of old guys? The 01 Diamondbacks are hard to understand, but I'm here to tell you this unusual story of how the oldest team of the last 80 years won it all. Everything began back in 1998 when they joined baseball as the newest organization.
The Arizona Diamondbacks enjoy the ride.
As a relocation team, you have practically no chance at winning in year number one. You are a brand new franchise with zero farm system, no young stars or development pipeline. Their only guy was Kareem Garcia, who was a top prospect with the Dodgers before being drafted by the D-backs in the expansion draft. In fact, on the Diamondbacks' very first home opener, he did this.
This is a drive into left center field. This could go. And Kareem Garcia.
The only thing they had going for them was a strong ownership group with an ambition to win fast and attract fans now. They saw no better option to manage this new team than former Yankee manager Buck Showalter. Although he was fired at the end of his Yankee tenure, he led them to 3 winning seasons as manager, and that's all this new franchise was asking for. Hell, he's the one who helped the Yankees get back into the playoffs after missing 14 straight playoff appearances.
Game is over and the New York Yankees have won the 1995 first ever wild card.
Despite a poor first record in Arizona with 97 losses, fans loved having a team. I mean, they had the second highest attendance in baseball. They were loyal to a team that had nearly no talent, no leadership, and probably were not close to being in the playoffs. Winter approached, and owners realized that they could cement a top-tier reputation by getting aggressive. One of the ways they could do this was by moving from guys who didn't work out year one whatsoever. And this included outfielder Kareem Garcia with a 66 OPS plus, putting him 34% below MLB's league average production. An ESPN reporter noted, there was a stretch where Garcia missed 19 changeups in a row and didn't get close to touching them either. So, with their mindset shifting fully to winning more games in 1999, they made a deal, giving Kareem Garcia to the Tigers in return for veteran 32-year-old Luis Gonzalez. He had been solid in years past, but nothing like he would be in 1999, where he broke records.
Deep to right, and this one is gone.
Or how about his best stretch of numbers?
And a franchise record was born, 30-game hitting streak for the 5-time All-Star.
The crazy part, I haven't even brought up their best acquisition, future Hall of Fame pitcher Randy Johnson, on a monster 4-year, $53 million contract at 36 years old. We're talking about a guy who was one of the best players in baseball for a decade at this point. A guy who had previously thrown a no-hitter, led the American League in strikeouts 4 times, while leading the Mariners to their first playoff appearance in their existence, and exhibited elite stuff while doing it all. Therefore, it should be no surprise that they had a career season with Randy unlike anything we had ever seen from him.
Games he has been spectacular, including a game he pitched against St. Louis where he struck out 14. He gave up just 5 hits, but one of those hits, even with Mike McGuire wondering, how do I hit him?
Gonzalez and the big unit were upon a long list of new players, most notably 34-year-old Steve Finley, who arrived in Arizona via trade, provided a spark at the top of their lineup.
It's a pitch on the way, and he drives one to deep left, way back. Warning track wall, and Finley goes the other way for his 3rd home run of the night.
33-year-old second baseman Jay Bell was going into his 2nd season with the D-backs and would only get better from here. Same goes for their 3rd baseman Matt Williams, who is in the same situation as Bell. Well, with this team practically brand new, everyone showed up on opening day.
Always delighted to have you with us for opening day baseball. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the Los Angeles Dodgers go at it here in Southern California, and the colors and the people are all out on an absolutely magnificent day for baseball.
Late in the game, their 2nd baseman stepped into the batter's box to do serious damage.
Sheffield, it's blowing, it's gone! Goodbye, home run! That ball just kept going and going. Sheffield kept backing up, ran out of room. A 3-run homer for Jay Bell, and a 5-2 lead for the Diamondbacks.
Believe it or not, this young bullpen cost them the game and they lost. But putting up 6 runs in your season debut is a statement that they were able to ride off of. But how long could they sustain paying these guys so much money? Well, if they were using the sponsor of today's video, freecash.com, they could have easily afforded it. Whether it's starting a Netflix trial, reaching level 10 in a video game, or signing up for TikTok, you will earn free money. Now, if you don't believe me, freecash.com nearly has a perfect 5-star Trustpilot rating. Personally, right after signing up, I was given free money and then 3 large offers where I could earn $20 each for just 5 minutes of my time. And here's proof. I went onto this app Domino Dreams. I played it for just a few minutes, and as you can see here, you can cash out through PayPal, Bitcoin, Stake, gift cards. It does not matter. And if you wanted to speed things up, you can make in-game purchases that Free Cash will give you cash back for. Right after clicking the link in the description, pinned comment, or by scanning this QR code, you will download freecash.com and be given a $5 bonus after your first offer. Immediately after download, make sure you enable app tracking to ensure you're properly credited. Again, thank you to freecash.com for literally giving my viewers free cash. Anyways, let's get back to Arizona. By June of 1999, the Diamondbacks were 31-22, putting them 9 games above 500. They were miraculously pulling something off that we had never seen in MLB history, which is, of course, an MLB expansion team winning so soon after their existence, and that's because of a fundamental difference in the way they operated. Typically, when a team first begins, they attempt to establish a young core of prospects rising up their farm system, but the D-backs didn't follow that philosophy. They created their own. As we know, their team was loaded with older veterans that they believed they could get important production from, and to everyone's disbelief, it was working.
Hit right center, over is Davis. He's got it with a backhand. Well hit right field. Eric Davis, he's got it! He had it long enough, and it's 2 outs. Ground ball to second base. McEwen.
Over the course of that season, they scored 900 runs. To put that into today's perspective, they would have led the league in runs scored across 2025. And with a successful record, they were able to do this.
Mirabelli hits it on the ground to Matt Williams. This could be it. His long throw is in time, and this one is over.
Arizona clinched a massive NL West title to take their division with a 162 win-loss ratio. We saw 3 of their hitters land over 30 home runs, 2 of them with over a 300 batting average. But without a doubt, the greatest individual accomplishment was by none other than starting pitcher Randy Johnson, who of course won his 2nd Cy Young Award, making him the best pitcher in baseball throughout 1999. He had a dominant 364 strikeouts, good for the second highest number in National League history, while putting up the #1 ERA in the NL at 2.48. Undoubtedly, with this veteran experience, they had a serious opportunity to elevate their game in the playoffs to an entirely new level. In the NLDS, their round 1 opponent was the 97-win New York Mets. But to everyone's surprise, the Mets won decisively in Game 1, putting pressure on the D-backs to respond decisively now.
Game 1 didn't go the way the home folks wanted. You think they're undaunted in the desert? Think again. Game 2.
In the 3rd inning, we watched the Mets take a 1-0 lead, but Arizona wouldn't go down without a damn fight. Despite 2 quick outs, they were determined to make something happen, and quickly. Beginning with a J-Bell single into left field. The following at-bat, Luis Gonzalez was hit, making it 2 runners now on base. Things were about to get very interesting. Now, they loaded the bases with 2 outs. This is the situation where it thrives to have veterans. And with another 30-year-old infielder stepping into the box, a guy with power with bases loaded, the guy worked a 3-1 count, and then
We're tied at 1, ball 4.
a 34-year-old Steve Finley was next up in the batter's box.
Gonzalez scores. Williams being waved home. Here's the throw. Not in time. 3-1 Arizona.
That last run had barely made it in there. He was safe by literal inches. They were on their way to winning their first playoff game in history.
And the Diamondbacks, as Bell squeezes it, have evened the series. 7-9-1 for Arizona, 1-5-0 for the New York Mets, 5 RBIs for Steve Finley, and the win for Todd Stottlemyre. Dig in, hooray.
But don't get excited yet. A tide was about to pull this series away. Dropping Game 3 meant that Game 4 became a must-win elimination game. But with Buck Showalter leading the charge, I guess anything was possible.
Oh, Bell slugs it to left field. Moore is in the corner. It's off the wall. Ward scores. Womack scores. Bell is into second. 3-2 Diamondbacks.
The Diamondbacks managed to carry this game into extra innings, fighting to stay alive until this happened.
As long as, oh, that's hit well to center field. Finley goes back. Back. It's over.
Their historic season was over, but this was merely just the beginning. You see, in the year 2000, we saw serious regression in this team full of old guys. More than anything, injuries harmed them to a point they could not rebound. They missed the playoffs in 2000. It was a long shot that they'd be close to victory anytime soon. However, they were determined to prove everyone wrong, and it all began with a simple trade. An addition big enough to change a franchise to help the pitching staff right by Randy Johnson. Their new player was another veteran, 34-year-old starting pitcher, Curt Schilling.
They made a big move to improve their pitching staff. They certainly did that. Curt Schilling came over from the Philadelphia Phillies. The Diamondbacks sent Omar Dahl, Nelson Figueroa, Travis Lee, and Vicente Padilla to Philadelphia. Of course, Schilling teamed up with Randy Johnson.
The Phillies win. A brilliant 5-hit shutout for Curt Schilling.
Well, you don't have an opportunity many times to go get a dominating type starter in the trade market, and Schilling was one of those guys.
He had previously been a standout star in Philadelphia, beginning his new chapter in Arizona. Not many teams can say that they have 2 pitching aces, 2 guys that could dominate a postseason.
And when you talk about two-headed monsters as far as pitching staffs go, there haven't been many better than Johnson and Schilling.
Yeah, we talk about it this year, who are the best 1-2 punch in baseball. Nothing compared to what these guys did. And I think a lot of Diamondbacks fans will tell you they have no problem giving up what they did. I mean, there's all big leaguers in there, and all serviceable big leaguers.
The D-backs confidently looked ahead to the 0-1 season, but first needed to change a few things around in their player personnel and staff. Beginning with a brand new manager, as Buck Showalter was fired. Owner of the team and president of baseball operations was the one who made this heartbreaking decision that ultimately got rid of a guy who had been in baseball for so long. But as he later explained, they already knew what they wanted from their next manager. A quote, solid baseball guy, someone who has preferably spent a lot of time in Major League Baseball. It's not a given, but being an ex-player may fit with the group we have. According to this article, it was rumored that they were targeting Bob Brenly, who happened to be both a former player and commentator. It took an entire month, but a deal was finalized for Brenly to go from Houston, Texas to Arizona and officially manage the Diamondbacks. In his introductory press conference, he flat out said there's no reason why the Diamondbacks couldn't be in the World Series next year. Or maybe there's no reason for why they couldn't be there this year. Then, as we move on to their players for 01, they had to reassess what their plan was. For the outfield, they made a small salary signing of $1.5 million for Reggie Sanders, a ball player who was coming off of a down year but had previously hit 26 home runs just 2 years ago with a .904 OPS.
2 outs for Reggie Sanders. This doing a lot of damage.
Aside from Sanders, they chose to run it back in 2001 with this team of old guys. The average age of their lineup in rotation was 34 years old, the second oldest team in MLB history and the oldest in their franchise's history. But as Curt Schilling put it, expectations were high.
There's a sense of urgency here, and I guess a sense of frustration.
Schilling was a massive leader for the rotation alongside of Randy.
Johnson fires, swung on and missed a fastball at 97 miles per hour.
However, their leader in their lineup was none other than Luis Gonzalez.
Our goal wasn't to get to the World Series, it was to win the World Series. And we believed in our hearts that we could do that. This is by far one of the most enjoyable teams I've ever played on. And you look around our locker room and our roster from top to bottom, you got guys that have played in 3, 4, 5, some guys more, like a Mike Morgan, different organizations. And you're thinking to yourself, there's too many good guys in here to let this opportunity slip away. We have to go out there and win this thing.
Manager Bob Brenly and the D-backs were able to win their first game as a unit, and everyone was happy. By this point, the Snakes had high expectations that their high amount of talent was hoping to live up to. And that's exactly what they did throughout the months of May and June. Hell, nobody was better than Luis Gonzalez.
I know you high fly ball, if it's fair, it is long gone, and it is long gone.
He sat at 12 homers in May, just one away from the record held by Ken Griffey Jr.
High drive, and he is tied Ken Griffey Jr.'s major league record with 13 home runs in the month of April. Gonzo is gone for the record.
Just like that, he had tied Griffey's record. Gonzalez had an insane month of May, hitting more home runs than we had ever seen from him, or almost any player in MLB history. And of course, yes, this pitching staff was electric.
Here's one more, buddy. Dancing like you fucking got a reason. Dancing like it's something to believe in.
Randy Johnson was one strikeout away from 20.
Randy Johnson has tied the major league record for strikeouts in a 9-inning game. 20 for the big unit.
With that, he had tied Major League Baseball in strikeouts. Shortly after, the Diamondbacks began an historic 9-game winning streak, which was their longest in their franchise history. I mean, after all, this year was bound to be special after Randy Johnson hit that bird with a pitch. This mere glimpse into the coming months was something no one ever thought would happen. Dominance.
On paper, and you look at our pitching rotation and our lineup on a daily basis, if those guys just go out and do near their average major league numbers over their careers, I think that'll be good enough to win.
They were able to accomplish 92 wins as a team, a franchise record. They narrowly captured an AL West title, beating out Barry Bonds-led Giants. As for this core of players, Luis Gonzalez had a career season with over 50 home runs. Behind him in homers was Reggie Sanders, who returned to his old form as a superstar. The pitching staff included Curt Schilling leading the major leagues in wins. Randy Johnson had a career high in strikeouts and his third consecutive Cy Young award, becoming only the second player in MLB history to accomplish this, with the first being legendary pitcher Pedro Martinez. These are the overall batting averages we saw from their top players. You look around and there's a lot of good statistics. ERA-wise in this rotation, it truly was just Johnson and Schilling versus the world, and that's what the postseason was about to be.
Teams have an ace, a Cy Young candidate to lead the way. The Diamondbacks trade for Schilling in July of 2000 gave them 2, giving them maybe the best 1-2 punch baseball has seen in 36 years.
You have to dig into the history of baseball, I think, to come up with a 1-2 punch as good as these guys have been all year long. And for a rookie manager, I can't imagine a better situation having 2 guys like that at the top of your rotation. It makes me smart 2 days a week.
I probably talk pitching more with Randy Johnson than anybody, because I think we feel like there's some things that are very similar about us that we can kind of feed off of or learn. And I know I've learned some things from him, and I would like to think I've maybe taught him a thing.
St. Louis had an incredible lineup featuring a young superstar Pujols and an old veteran Mark McGwire. They could hit homers, get on base, hit off of great pitchers. Finally, it was time for Game 1 against the Cardinals.
And the rubber meets the toe. The 2 winningest pitchers in baseball.
Town Phoenix, Arizona, Game 1 of the National League Division Series between the St. Louis Cardinals and Bob Brenly's Arizona Diamondbacks.
The D-backs were about to get a gem from Curt Schilling, who looked sharper than we had ever seen. That was at least until the 5th inning, when we saw one Diamondbacks runner get onto base, for him to later get onto second thanks to his sacrifice bunt. And then, with Steve Finley up to the plate,
Around third, here comes a throw to the plate, puddle, and Finley is broken through for Arizona.
this 1-0 lead had Randy Johnson jumping out of his seat in celebration. The score had stayed the same until the 9th inning, where Schilling hoped to put this game away.
The split finger looks like a strike.
He also earned the second out, putting him 1 away.
Phoenix born, Phoenix bred, Curt Schilling.
With Randy Johnson's generational expertise on the mound in Game 2, things seemed rather promising. However,
The unit is 0-6 since the 95 ALDS, the longest string of postseason losses in baseball history.
could Randy's never-ending streak of losses finally end? We'd find out now in Game 2.
Here comes Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson gives me nightmares at night, and I don't even have to face the guy. But Tony La Russa told us earlier today that this is the type of game that his Cardinals have jumped up and won all season long. And 21-6, as you mentioned, Tommy, unbelievable numbers. Look at the ERA, under 2.5. The strikeout numbers, as good as anybody in the game of baseball.
Lined into left field, Gonzalez has a ball in front of him. And a good start for Fernando Vina, the Cardinals.
In the very next at-bat,
Hit down the right field line and hit pretty well towards the corner. That ball is gone. Home run. Down the right field line for Pujols. And the Cardinals have taken a 2-0 lead.
just like everyone had been saying, Randy was struggling yet again, and it wasn't going to get any easier.
Johnson a battle, the 2-2. And a ball well hit in a deep left center field. That ball's going to the wall. Finley over to pick it up, and Williams with a leadoff double against Johnson here in the 3rd inning. How about that?
Afterwards, with a runner on third base, the Cardinals were able to add on to what they've already accomplished, turning the score 3-0 as they now trailed. Fans remained optimistic, hoping something could happen. It took a long time, but in the 8th inning, they drove in a run with bases loaded. But it was simply too late to find traction, losing Game 2.
A 2-0 lead by now, but a funny thing happened on the way to St. Louis. The Cardinals managed some quality pitching of their own.
Without Johnson or Schilling on the mound, this game was incredibly important.
1-2 punch in all of baseball, no doubt, with Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson. But they're a little thin after that. That's why tonight's game is vital for them, because if they lose, they will move their top 2 guys up to pitch on short rest.
Miguel Batista, the guy pitching that day, was a hybrid between being a bullpen arm and starting pitcher with an overall ERA of 3.36. The type of guy you could undoubtedly win with, but in the 4th inning,
Center field, back is Finley,
the wall, 2-0 St. Louis.
He was able to get out of it just a batter later, but the damage was done and Bautista knew that. It was up to this old offense to pick up the slack, and it started with Luis Gonzalez in his next at-bat.
That is stroked deep into right field, down the line, it is gone, a home run Gonzalez. And the lead has been cut in half, it's 2-1.
Later in the 7th inning, we saw runners on base in the corners with a chance to capitalize.
Finley going to third is Miller. It's a 2-2 game, and the go-ahead run is 90 feet away.
Down the line in yet another big situation, hitter Craig Counsell found himself against a lefty, which he was amazing against throughout 2001.
Count in his favor, and he hits one into deep right. Back into the corner, this ball is gone. 3-run home run Counsell. And a 5-2 Arizona lead here in the 7th inning.
This dugout was losing their mind. They were about to win Game 3. And of course, they did in the 9th inning off a double play, putting them one game closer to an NLDS victory. The problem, the player standing in their way, was their own Albie Lopez. You're definitely wondering who the hell that is, which makes sense considering he had a 4.41 ERA across 01, but if he could get them across the hump, this would make them Division Series winners. Maybe there was a chance. After all, in the 1st inning, we saw the D-backs take an early lead, smacking a single into right field. Now, the ball was in the hands of Albie Lopez. St. Louis quickly got a runner onto third base and advanced him to make it 1-1, and they were not done.
One into left field, pretty well hit. Back at the wall, it's 2-1 St. Louis.
Despite attempting to fight their way into victory, the Cardinals had indeed forced a Game 5. It would be a rematch between star Curt Schilling and Cardinals star Matt Morris,
who had an ERA of 3.16. Drew lines one into right field, well hit, back at the wall, tie game. 5th game. Edmonds up the middle, and the go-ahead run is on.
After the St. Louis base hit, they sacrificed bunt their way into a runner on second base. With one out on the board, Schilling locked in to secure out number 2. He was up to a workload of 117 pitches, had been pounding the strike zone, and only needed one more out to put this game into the hands of his offense. And with 2 strikes,
fastball.
His job was over. 36-year-old Matt Williams stepped into the batter's box without a hit in this series. But in traditional, wonky fashion, he hit a deep double into right field. Now, the 31-year-old catcher Damian Miller was up to the plate and sacrifice bunted Matt Williams into third base. So, could infielder Tony Womack come up clutch?
Pitch to Womack. Little floater, left field. Here comes Bautista. Here's the throw. Diamondbacks going to the NLCS.
One last team stood in the way of a World Series berth, and it happened to be one of the best teams in baseball, the Atlanta Braves. After 10 straight division titles, they had experience to beat Arizona. Yeah, they had young guys like 23-year-old Andrew Jones and a 29-year-old prime Chipper Jones. But they also had a very experienced pitching staff. I'm talking Greg Maddux, Tom Glavine, John Smoltz, one of the most badass rotations in MLB history. But hey, this is maybe why the Diamondbacks had been so successful in the first place, because they could kill teams like this. They could match any team's veteran presence. And we saw it all on display in the NLCS.
Welcome to Bank One Ballpark, Game 1 of the 2001 National League Championship Series. The Atlanta Braves and the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I'll be honest, the Braves just couldn't keep up with the Diamondbacks in this series. Outside of Game 2, the Diamondbacks just kept coming out victorious.
And the Arizona Diamondbacks
Diamondbacks become the fastest expansion franchise to reach the World Series. In just their 4th year, they will move on to the Fall Classic. Randy Johnson, a 7-game postseason losing streak, coming into this league championship series. They've ever had Major League Baseball, and they're going to the World Series.
Oh my God!
How the Diamondbacks reached the World Series so many.
Some of the guys that aren't here with us tonight that contributed during the course of the season, we want to thank them, but these guys believed in what we were trying to do this year, and I believed in them.
They were the NL champions, but they wanted to be MLB champions. And to do so, they had to defeat a Cinderella story of an organization, the Yankees. I'm talking about a powerhouse with several future Hall of Famers that had just won the World Series in 1998, 1999, 2000, and hoped to do it again in 2001. They were more talented than any team the Diamondbacks had come across this postseason. And of course, were playing together with love and spirit as a city. This is because of the well-known attacks on America in 2001 in their home of New York City.
At this early stage, we believe that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center in New York.
Attacks that took away the lives of families but brought together a nation to play baseball just a little over a month later. You're already familiar with Arizona's club, but how about the Yankees? Their lineup was top to bottom very good. From Derek Jeter, Bernie Williams, they led the charge as their best hitters. Tino Martinez was their home run king. For Arizona to win this series, it all started with their pitching needing to come up and play some damn baseball. Could Schilling rise to the occasion?
And here's a guy who has been almost unhittable this postseason.
He has given up only 2 earned runs in 27 innings.
He started strong, working a strikeout. Hell, a few pitches later, he made a guy throw his bat from how good this pitch was. Still, he got a taste of how good this Yankee lineup is, and they made it 1-0. But ALCS MVP Craig Counsell took this personally.
Won't miss the opportunity as Counsell gets into one to right. NLCS MVP, and he ties it here in the first inning of Game 1.
And with a runner on in the 3rd inning,
Series 1-2 pitch, deep to right. Diamondbacks take the lead.
the D-backs were running away with Game 1.
Single and walked. Into left center field, pretty well hit. Back near the track. Finley, Diamondbacks win Game 1.
With them up in the series, they were at a serious advantage to get ahead, with Randy Johnson taking the mound the next game.
Game 2 of the 2001 World Series. It's the New York Yankees and the Arizona Diamondbacks.
But on the other side, superstar Andy Pettitte had the ball. It was a certainty that it would be the battle of the pitchers.
Foul tip, struck. How about this start? 2 strikeouts for Johnson, 2 strikeouts for Pettitte.
Worth noting that the top of the order was all lefties. Pettitte is a righty, however.
Now the first right-hander that Pettitte faces, and Sanders does ground it to the left side, base hit. Into right center field, off the bat of Batista and all the way to the wall. Sanders motoring around third. They bring him to the plate. Soriano's throw late, 1-0 Arizona.
And again, Randy Johnson was just too good of a pitcher for the Yankees to handle.
1-2, Soriano lifts it into left center field for Finley. 2-out.
Schilling and Johnson did their part, but now the real challenge began. The veteran Roger Clemens took the mound in Game 3 versus the Diamondbacks' lousy Brian Anderson. But first, we saw an iconic first pitch from our then U.S. president.
Attention now to the area in front of the pitcher's mound for tonight's ceremonial first pitch.
After throwing that pitch in New York City, the stadium was loud. With both teams understanding that the president was watching them, this had the potential to be the best game in the series. After working out number 1 and 2, the Yankees got to work.
O'Neill Flares one into left, might drop. Gonzalez will play it on a hop.
O'Neill was able to steal that base, putting a runner on second, and then walked a batter to put 2 on. This could be troublesome.
Center field. Back is Finley. On the run. A leap and a catch, and the inning is over. Steve Finley.
With that amazing catch, the game went on scoreless until this.
Field 1-0. New York.
That home run was a tide turner, something that would change this series, and it did.
If he hits that ball well.
Now we were in Game 4. The D-backs came out hot, with Tony Womack getting a hit, Luis Gonzalez getting hit by a pitch, and then securing another walk to load the bases with 1 out. But then Matt Williams struck out, giving them just one more chance with Steve Finley up to bat, just for him to hit a pop-up and ruin the opportunity. Even though they kept the game tied, going into extras it wasn't enough.
Jeter hits it into right. Back at the wall. Game over. Yankees win and the series is tied.
The series was tied, and soon they lost control of it in a sad fashion. Then again, this is why you have 2 aces in your rotation for Games 6 and 7. Johnson was able to put a clean first inning to set up Arizona's offense.
And Womack hits it down the right field line. It is a ground rule double. Batista up the middle. Womack coming to the plate, and the Diamondbacks take a Game 6 first inning lead. Center field, Womack, another hit. 2 more runs, and it's 3-0 Arizona. Game 6 belongs to Arizona, forcing Game 7 tomorrow night.
So finally, who could do it? Curt Schilling or Roger Clemens?
For the final time in 2001, welcome to a Major League Baseball game on Fox. It is November the 4th, and it's Game 7 of the World Series.
With 2 elite pitchers on the mound, we were scoreless through 6 innings. But Steve Finley, he attempted to begin a rally with a single up the middle that started something.
Ball's gonna put Arizona on top. Danny Batista delivers again. Going for third. Out, but it's 1-0 Arizona.
New York responded.
Williams holds at second. And it's 2 on with 1 out as Tino Martinez delivers to tie it 1-1.
In the 8th inning, the worst came.
Soriano into deep left field. At the wall, Yankees on top, 2-1.
The entire state, every fan needed the Diamondbacks to do something. And in the 9th inning, Randy Johnson wanted to step up off 0 days of rest in the most heroic fashion baseball has seen in an extremely long time. He earned a pop fly into center field, a ground ball for an out, and lastly a strikeout, giving the D-backs one more chance to save their season in the 9th. It was against the best closer of all time, Mariano Rivera.
Spencer in right. Into center field, a good start for Arizona. Grace with his...
After that hit, Damian Miller attempted to bunt, and it would be amazing, putting 2 runners on with no outs. A massive situation, the biggest moment of any of these veterans' careers. And Womack stepped up to the plate.
Tony Womack delivers, it's 2-2.
Craig Counsell was next, then he got hit by a pitch, setting up their best hitter, Luis Gonzalez, in a situation that would bring a World Series home to Arizona.
Center fielder, the Diamondbacks are world champions.
And you fans, this is for you.
A storybook ending for our team. To look around and see all the guys crying, everybody show that much emotion. It was just, it was a great feeling.
bunch of old guys that found their pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Thank you so much for watching all the way through. I spent a ton of time in this video, so supporting the channel in any way, whether that be by subscribing, liking the video, or commenting, it all means a whole lot. Or if you just want to watch another video of mine, go for it. But that is all I have for you today. Peace out.